હજી રચિત સરે સવારમાં મેસેજ કર્યો લિંકનો.
અત્યારે ક્યાં મેસેજ કર્યો?
અત્યારે જો બે ગ્રુપમાં સરનો મેસેજ આવ્યો ટીસી.
ઇન્સ્ટ્રક્શન આપી
અચ્છા ઓકે. યસ સર.
ડોટનેટ ની
હેલો
ઇન્સ્ટ્રક્શન
સર.
આપી છે. હા બોલ
ડોટનેટ ઇન્સ્ટ્રક્શન આપી છે.
પોતાની ડોટનેટ ની ઇન્સ્ટ્રક્શન આપી છે પછી સર.
ઓકે ઓકે હા રેડી 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 રેડી. Good morning, student. We will wait for 2 to 3 minutes for few student may join. Then we start our unit. So let's we start our session. The first we discuss about the second mid semester syllabus. So if you already get a one document, okay, if you see the second mid-sem exam schedule, the cybersecurity exam on 11th April. If you go through the syllabus wise unit, the, as per our discussion, the unit is a 3, 4 and 5. It means ethical hacking concept and social engineering. Unit number 4, cyber forensics, and unit number 5, it means the cyber law as well as the cyber ethics. The unit 3, 4 and 5, that is the second mid-sem exam syllabus, and exam pattern is the 20 MCQ. Each MCQ have a 1 mark, that means get 20 mark, and exam time is 10 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. and total 30 minutes time and 20 mark for mid-sem exam. Now if you have any query or any doubt, then you contact me or Snehal Sathwara sir and type a mail for the regarding the any topic doubt in particular unit 3, unit 4 or unit 5. We already cover our all syllabus unit. Now we start the second mid-sem exam syllabus revision, which is the based on the MCQ exam. So now our as per the syllabus, the unit number 5th is cyber ethics and cyber law. It means the cyber crime as well as the IT Act. So now this is the first MCQ. Okay, which of the following is not a type of the cyber crime? So we have a four option: data theft, forgery, damage to data as well as the particular system, or installing the antivirus for the protection. Now type your answer in your chat box. So what is the answer of MCQ 1? Am I audible, student? Okay, few student typing answer. Harsh say answer D and Amit say answer B. Okay, we wait for remaining student answer. Okay, Harsh say answer D, Amit say answer B. The answer is the D. Installing the antivirus for the protection, it is not an category of the particular cyber crime. If you take example of the data theft, it means we get some personal information or personal banking or financial data. That is again category of the cyber crime. Now again similar for the forgery, the similar type of we can say cyber crime. If you damage the particular system or we can say any network, that is the again category of the we can say a cyber crime. The right answer is the D. It is the not an type of the cyber crime. Now next question: cybercrime can be categorized into the how many types? 2, 3, 4 or 6? How many type of cybercrime category is available? Okay, Amir say answer D. Then remaining student. Category of the cyber crime. The right answer is the C, 2. It means a total we have a two category of the cyber crime. Now, which two category? The first category is the peer-to-peer attack, and second category is the computer as a we have say a weapon. In now, what is the peer-to-peer attack? So now in peer-to-peer attack, attacker attacker target victim as a particular user. It means as a single user can peer-to-peer connection can have a each and every attacker. Also, we can say a cracker or black hat hacker can target. Now, in computer as a weapon, it's a technique about the, for example, DDoS attack or illegal attack, for example, IPR violation, cyber crime, cyber terrorism. So these are the we have category as a computer as a weapon. It means as a network can doing a, this type of the attack. The total cyber crime we have a two category. The first category is the peer-to-peer attack, and second category is the computer as a weapon. It means as a group network when we doing a different type of attack, for example, IPR violation, cyber terrorism, cyber crime. So these are the we can say such an illegal activity which is the considered as a cyber crime. Now the next question, which of the following is not a type of the peer-to-peer network, peer-to-peer cyber crime? As we have discussed the total, we have two category of the crime. One is the peer-to-peer and second is the computer as a weapon. Now in this case, which is the not and type of the peer-to-peer network? Type your answer in chat box, student. Okay, few students say answer B. Again, one student say answer D. Okay, the right answer is the D. Why answer D is right? Because if you take example of the financial crime or credit card details, it's in we can have lots of user as a to particularly one-to-one have a targeted the particular bank or we can say any bank server. So it is the example of the peer-to-peer. It means the one-to-one attack. Now, if you take example of the phishing, that is the we can say group activity computer as a crime. It means it's targeted the 100, 200 based on the malicious email can sending, and that is the category of the phishing. It means make someone fake website page and then get the each and every person related the financial account or personal information. Then again injected the particular we have a Trojan, for example, okay, we have target the number of system or any network and then install the any Trojan or backdoor and then it's continue fetching a particular informations. Now third category MITM, it means the man in the middle attack. So again it is the Tukma category of the particular Tukma computer as a weapon. The answer is the D. The next question, which of the following is not an example of the computer as a weapon cyber crime? That is our second category. We have already discussed total two type of the cyber crime. The one is the peer to peer and second is the computer as a weapon. Now in this case, which is not an category of the computer as a weapon. Student, type your answer in chat box. So now few students say answer A, few students answer B, but right answer is the B. Why answer B? Spying someone using a key logger. Now if you install the keylogger on particular system, so now whatever person can access the system, that all information we have easily take from the particular, we can say, spying software or as a key logger. It's not an, we say, a category of the peer to peer. It means it's not in category of the particular computer as a Tukma weapon. It means that those person can access the particular system. So that person, whatever doing a task in system, that all activity we have recorded into the particular spyware software. The answer B. It means it's not an example of the computer as a particular weapon. Next question. Which of the following is not done by the cyber criminal? Now, if you categorize the cyber criminal activity, we have a different type of cyber criminal as well as the different type of cyber attack. Now, there is a four option given: unauthorized access, account particular, then mass attack using the Trojan, worm or virus, as well as the botnet through, then email spoofing as well as the spamming. It means malicious email continues to send, then report of the vulnerability in any system. Now, what is the answer? So now answer is the D. Why D? If you identify the any vulnerability or any threat in a particular system, so it is not an cyber crime. It is the, we can say, good sign, which generally doing any white hacker can identify in any network or particular, we can say, system, okay, doing a give a particular data about these are the vulnerability or these are the threat might be possible on particular network or particular system. There is a category, it's not an category of the cyber criminal. Now if you take a again remaining all three options, the cyber criminal are normally involving in a activity like accessing the online account unauthorized manner. That is the option A. That is a category of the cyber crime. Now through the Trojan attack to large system and sending the to malicious email. That is the again category of the cyber crime. Then if you identify any bug related exploit or through the, we can say, Trojan or form, that is the again category of the cyber criminal as well as the cyber crime. The answer is the D. I think Cheat have said answer D. It is the right answer, Cheat. Now, what is the name of the IT Act law in India having the Indian legislation? Now, what is the actual name of the IT Act in particular India? Option A, Indian technology. Option B, Indian Digital Information Technology. Option C, Indian Information Technology, or D, the Technology Act. Okay, Jit says C, Indians Information Technology Act 2000. Then remaining student, wait for your answer. The answer is C. Chit, your answer is right. Indian Information Technology Act, IT Act 2000. This is the full name. Next question. In which year IT Act came into the existing in India? 2000, 2001, 2002, or 2003? I think it is the easy question. Read a previous question carefully. The answer is already I have said. In which year Indian IT Act came into the existing? Student, type your answer. Quick response, please. Okay, answer is the 2000A, because if you read a previous question carefully, the already I have mentioned IT Act 2000. It is the document existing in a 2000 year. Now, what is the full form of ITA 2000? This is the again twisted question. Again, if you carefully read the previous question, there is again answer in this available. Okay, students, answer D. Yes, this is the right answer. The answer is D. Information Technology Act 2000. This is the full form of ITA 2000. Good student. Okay, next. Now we go through the particular IT Act, section 65, 66, 67, and 70, 72. So now, under which section IT Act stealing any digital asset, or we can say information, is written by a cyber crime? So now it is the category of the which IT Act. Option A 65, option B 65D, option C 67, or option D 70. Now what is the right answer? If you're stealing a digital information or written by or written to particular, that is the which crime of cyber crime. Okay, if your student type say 67 C. Okay, one student say D. Again, I wait for the few student response, then I will tell what is the right answer. The right answer is A. IT Act 65. Why IT Act 65? So when a cyber criminal steal any computer document, asset, or we can say any digital informations, or any we can say software source code, particular we can say any organization or any company or as a individual system, that is the category from the IT Act 65. That is the all related to crime from stealing particular information or damage to particular asset to computer or any system or network. So this all type of the cybercrime which category into the ITX section 65. The answer is the 65. Next question. What is the punishment in India for stealing computer related document, asset, or any software source code for particular, we can say any organization, individual, for any other means? So now what is the exact punishment under the IT Act 65? Option A 6 months and 50,000. Option B 1 year and 1 lakh. Option C 2 year and 2,50,000. Or option D 3 year and 5 lakhs. Now, what is the exact punishment under the IT Act 65? Because it is the question of 65 IT Act. If you steal computer related any document, digital information, or any software source code from any company or any organizer or any firm, or we can say any individual system. So this is the category of ITX 65. Now, what is the exact punishment for the ITX 65? That is your answer. The answer is D 3 year and 5 lakhs of the particular fine. And if you take an example of the any dogma cyber law or IT Act, that is the rules for the ITX 65. If you're doing this type of the cyber crime or cyber criminal activity, so you have to punishment 3 year and 5 lakh of the fine. The answer is the D. Next question. What is the updated version of IT Act 2000? And if you see a Bharat Ka Rajpath, the first introduced a IT Act 2000, and then we revised our IT Act few based on the specific category. So now, what is the updated version of IT Act 2000? The option A, IT Act 2007, Advanced IT Act 2007, IT Act 2008, and Advanced IT Act 2008. Now, what is the right answer? Type your answer in chat box quickly, student. Okay, Nimish say answer C. Then again, Jeet say answer D. Amir say answer C. The right answer is the C. IT Act 2008. This is the updated version of the IT Act 2000. So, Jeet, Nimish, and Amir, your answer is right. Answer is C. Good. Now, next, in which year IT Act 2000 got a updated? Again, just twist the previous question. If you read the previous question carefully, that is the we can say alternate version. That is the again method how we twist the particular MCQ and again ask in the exam. Again, same answer. If you answer the previous question 2008, again, okay, which year can update it? Again, same answer B. Yeah, name is answer. You're right. B answer. Okay, one MCQ can be represent into two or three different methods. Just if you read the carefully and give the particular answer of the MCQ. Q. And now next question. What type of the cyber crime, IT law, its law and punishment does a section 66 of Indian IT Act hold? Now, in which category section 66 can particular punishment can? If you take example of 65, there is a computer document related stealing particular information or a set particular we can say software source code. Now in section 66, which is the exact category. If you're doing which type of cyber crime or cyber criminal activity, then when we apply the IT Act 66, type your answer in chat box, students. Okay, the answer is A. Cracking a, or we can say particular illegal hack to any system. That is the we can say section IT Act 66. Amir, good try. Your say C. Stealing data. It is the category of section 65. We already discussed this type of MCQ which are the possible for the section 65. Now we move to the section 66. Then section 66 is a particular cracking as well as illegal hack to any system. It means cracking the particular user ID and password for the individual or any organization which related to computer system. That is the category of IT Act 66. Because in IT Act 66 under which later came up the merge border as well as the practice a law say if you cracking illegal activity for the victim computer, it is the crime. It's cover a wide range of the cyber crime which under the IT Act of 66. The answer is a 66 in a cracking or illegal hacking particular system. The option A, it is the right answer. Now, accessing a computer without the prior authorization or cybercrime that come under which category? Section 65, 66, 68 or 70. And if you access a someone computer or someone we can say system without a permission or without the we can say authorization, it is the again the category of the cyber crime. Now it is the category in which section is applicable. Section 65, section 66, section 68 or section 70. Okay, name is SEBI, section 66. Now we wait for the remaining student answer, then I will tell what is the right answer. I think few students is actively participate. Nimis, Amir, Jeet, Shivam, Giri. Those are the continuous giving the answer of the all question right. As well as the again hers can give the answer few question. Okay, the right answer is the as a name is type option B 66. And if you access a someone system without the permission, or we can say without the prior authorization. It is the IT Act 66. It means if you cracking someone's system, take without permission as access, that is the cyber crime, which is the under IT Act 66. Then means your answer is right. Next question. Cracking digital identity of any individual or doing identity theft that come under the which IT Act? Again, option 65, 66, 68 or 70. Type your answer in chat box, student, quickly, because it is the important unit as per your second midterm exam as well as your final exam, because your second midterm exam based on the MCQ question. So that's why I am doing a revision of the unit 5 question. Okay, Nimish say option B. Again, Yuvraj say 65, option A. Now remaining student. Because this type of question asked in your second midterm exam. Okay, again, Sivam say option A. Good try. Okay, Jit have a one question. In final exam, there is MCQ. Dear Jit, that is the decide by the controller of the examination. Right now, we have a second midterm exam based on the MCQ. Now, whatever final exam module they have decide, that we will faculty as well as the subject faculty or exam department can inform you as soon as possible. Right now, your second midterm exam based on MCQ. Now, Jit, can you go to your answer? Okay, now we discuss the answer is the B, section 66. The name is your answer is right. Cracking the particular, we can say digital identity of an individual, or we can say doing the identity theft. That is the all came into the section 66. Now, accessing the Wi-Fi dishonestly is a cyber crime. Generally, we are doing this type of activity at home, as we can say as a public place. It is the again category of the cyber crime, because we identify when we freeware Wi-Fi is easily available, or somewhere we're trying to cracking a someone Wi-Fi password. So now what is the answer? It's a true or false. Okay, accessing the dishonestly someone Wi-Fi, it is the category of cyber crime. True or false? Okay, Shivam said B, Yuvraj said true, again Nimesh said true. Now these are the student actively participate. I appreciate your effect. Again, Jit say A. Yes, the answer is the A. True. Okay, if you access the someone Wi-Fi dishonestly, again you are a cyber criminal, because it is the category of the cyber crime. Okay, if you read the IT Act 2000, okay, which came up with the much broader as well as the precise 2000 IT Act, so saying okay, if any individual access anonymous Wi-Fi network without permission of the owner, or doing a malicious activity, that is the cyber crime. If you access the without any owner permission someone Wi-Fi, that is the category of the cyber crime. If you read the IT Act 2008, that is the clearly mentioned, okay, say that okay, if any individual access anyone Wi-Fi network without the permission, also we can say authorization by the owner, or doing this type of malicious activity, It is the category of the cyber crime. The answer is A, true. Now next question. Download, copy, extract data from an open system done affordably is treated as a which type of the cyber crime or category? Cyber warfare, cyber security act, data breakup, or cyber crime? If you take a took my license software and then extract the particular data, and then if you make a freeware software or firmware software, that is the again category of the which crime? Okay, Yuvraj said D, cyber crime. Again, Shivam said B, cyber security act. Okay, the remaining student, I will wait for your answer. Okay, the answer is D. This is the cyber crime. Amir says C. Now, why cyber crime? If you take any reputed organization which make any software, and that software is a paid. So now, if you take they download the particular paid software, then extract the particular data. It means if you take all particular file, and then if you delete a particular, we can say which require the registration key or particular software key, and then again if you're doing a open source as a software, that is the again category of the cyber crime. If you someone paid software make a easily freeware, that is the category of the cyber crime. The answer is D. The name is, your answer is right. Again, Yuvraj, your answer is right. So now next question. Any cybercrime that comes under the section 66 of IT Act, the accused person get fine of the number of amount of RS. Okay, Nimish say B, 2 lakhs, option A, B, 3 lakhs, option C, 4 lakhs, or option D, 5 lakhs. Again, Shivam say A, 2 lakhs. Again, this type of similar question previously I asked for the section 65. Okay, what is the punishment of the section 65? So there is again four option for 1 year, for 2 year, for 3 year, and different of the amount. I will just took my divide the question into the two category. Okay, what is the particular, we can say number of amount, and second is the particular, we can say number of the year. Can't is the again possibility if you ask the question on two different category. Okay, can you say answer D? Jit say answer D. Yes, the right answer is the D. 5 lakhs. Again, section 6 again punishment is the same 5 lakhs, as well as the section 66. The punishment is the 5 lakhs. Good student. Again, the same questions. Okay, how many year of imprisonment particular for the section 66 if any person facing any cyber criminal related activity? I'll just divide the question into two categories, one for the particular year and previous for the particular amount. Now, what is the exact year? 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, or 4 year? Type your answer in chat box, student. Okay, Kayur said 2 year, Yuvraj said 3 year. Okay, Nimish says C, 3 year. Yes, so Nimish and Yuvraj, your answer is right. The punishment is the 3 years. Okay, any cybercrime that comes under the section of 66 ITA, the person accused of such a cybercrime get fined around a 5 lakhs rupees and 3 years of the particular, we can say, imprisonment. Now the next question: any digital content which any individual creator and is not acceptable to the society, so it is a cybercrime that comes under the IT Act. Again, I repeat the question: any digital content which individually create and it not acceptable by the particular society. So now it is the which category of the cyber crime. It means which section we have applied based on the IT Act 2000 or IT Act 2008. Now, what is the answer? Section 66, Section 67, Section 68, or Section 69? The answer is B, Section 67. Why? If you create any digital content which is dogma, either dogma misuse or it's not an acceptable to the particular, we can say, society as a viewer from the digital item corrupted by the any mind which audience, that is the creator of the such content, falls under the cybercrime section 67. If you create someone dogma personal information or any dogma content which not accepted by the any society, that is the misuse or mismind the particular to my society or particular person. That is the category of the section 67 IT Act. Okay, next question. Using a spy camera in mail and shop and capture the private part of the any person comes under the IT Act of 2008. Now, which IT Act 2000 Act is possible? Doing the spy camera, if you take someone took my private part information or someone personal information, doing this type of spyware software or spyware camera, so which particular section can applicable? 66, 67, 68, or 69? Again Shivam say B, 67. Again Yuvraj say B, 67. Now we wait for the few student answer. Again, K say 67. Good. The answer is a section 67. So Kayur, Shivam Giri, and Yuvraj, your answer is right. This is the under the section 67. Now again, same question. Okay, using a section 67, spying a someone camera in mall and take any dogma private information about the any persons. So now it is the punishment of the 5 lakhs. True or false? Okay. If you're doing any cyber criminal or cybercrime related activity, okay, which under the section 67, so what is the exact punishment of number of RS? Okay, what will be the final fine for the particular section 67? The answer is true. Yes, 5 lakh will be the fine. Now next, again same question. Okay, what is the exact punishment for the number of wear? Again the section of the 67. Okay, you write say A. This is the previous question answer is true. Okay, now Nimish say option B, 3 year. We were just remaining 3 to 4 MCQ. We just quickly cover it up. Okay, the right answer is B, 3 year. Now, misuse of digital signature for the fraud purpose comes under the which IT Act? And if you use someone digital signature as a misuse for the particular, we can say personal advantage. So now which particular section can apply? Okay, Yuvraj say B, 66. Nimish say B. Kayur say 66. Carefully read, a student. Digital signature misuse. Okay, Amir say again B. Student, your answer is wrong. The right answer is D, section 72, which comes under the misuse of the particular digital signature. And if you take a somewhat digital signature, if you remember the example of the control of examiner, that is all are the IT Act which comes into the section 72. Okay, now sending a offensive message to someone comes under the which IT Act? If you give the answer both particular section as well as the IT Act 2000 or 2008. The answer is D, 66A. It is the category of the sending this type of the, we can say, message, and 2008, because if you read the 2008 Act, it's give the clearly mention each and every act. Again, same stealing the particular, we can say, digital file or digital information. It is the category of the which cyber crime. This is the last MCQ. Quick student response your answer. Okay, Shivam say B. Okay, you say C. The right answer is the C. Section 66, category of the C. If you're stealing someone digital information, that's come into the section 66 C. Okay, your answer is right. Good try, Shivam. So now we discuss about the Google Classroom code. Now the few question have a continuous message me as well as the Snehal sir. We have decided for TC3 as well as the TD1 class that have taking a cybersecurity subject. So I have just create a two different Google Classroom code. The 6 TD1 student they use your Google Classroom code is 4EHVLEC, and if you log in to join the particular Google Classroom, now what activity student can do? The student is upload a two type of the file. The first file is the 1 to 10 practical one combined single PDF file, and second file is the your remaining assignment whatever you have not checked me. For example, if you check assignment 1 to 3, so you just write down the assignment 4 and assignment 5, and that make a one single PDF file and that upload to in Google Classroom. room for the submission purpose. Now similar for the TC3 class, again I have created a Google Classroom code. This is the code is the 2UMCKCA. So these are the two Google Classroom code for the 6TD1 and 6TC3. The student please join your your respective class on Google Classroom and upload your practical file 1 to 10 practical and soft copy I have already uploaded in your e-content for your reference. So kindly refer it. And for the dogma assignment, the total we have 5 assignment. Again I have taken one example. If you complete the assignment 1 2 3 from my signature, if you remaining check out assignment 4 and assignment 5, you just write down assignment 4 and assignment 5 and make a one single PDF file and that upload to your Google Classroom for your submission purpose. So now in cybersecurity subject submission, the student require two things. One is the practical 1 to 10 and second is the assignment 1 to 5. If you already check 5 assignment, you just only upload the one file, the practical 1 to there. So this is the submission. If you assignment it's not with you, might be at your hostel or someone relative homes, so you check your file when a college is open after the lockdown. So don't panic for the related to your submission. If you have any query, you contact me as well as the Snehal sir. You just send a email to particular your class council regarding the whatever you have problem. So thank you, student. If you have any query, then just type a message in checkbox. Then I will handle to another faculty for the next session. Okay, Jit have one question. Where can I find the practical? Jit, check your e-content. Just open your MEFJ portal. Going to academic. In academic, just click on cybersecurity subject. At yesterday, I have uploaded the all 10 practical soft copy to easily get your all 10 practical soft copy. Just whatever necessary for the your practical file, just change it and then upload to your respective your class. If you are from TC3 or TD1, then use the my Google Classroom code. If you belong to TC1 or TC2 class, then that information particularly shared by the Snehal sir. Now any doubt, student? So now I hand over to Happy Madam for the next session of the compiler design. Happy ma'am, are you audible?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Okay, I will just leave the webinar, madam.
Okay, sir, okay. Hello, good morning, everyone. Am I audible? Hello, am I audible? Okay, so let's start with the next topic, that is another portion of your bottom-up parser. In last lecture, we have covered up till the LL1. That is something like we most probably covered all the different types of top-down parsing methodology, right? Now, how many top-down parsing methodologies are there? Just write down the answer. How many top-down parsing methodologies are there? Once we are okay with that, then we'll go with the bottom up. Okay, so write down the answer. How many types or which types of top down parsing methodologies are there? See, top down, that means you just need to verify that how can you pass this tree starting from your root node to the leaf node, right? So just write down the answer, types of top down methodology. Top down to bottom of 4. Okay, but give me the name of top down. The name of top down methodologies. Okay, LL1 and predictive, recursive descent. Okay, so the major two types that is known as, you can say, first one, top down with backtracking and top down without backtracking. So top down without backtracking and top down with backtracking. Okay, so now if we'll see that top down with backtracking methodology, that means you just need to identify that your first production must be completed with the first time only. Now, if we'll say that E will produce A, B, C, D, B, and E, F, right? Or separated with the OR, right? So once you just go with the given string, or you just want to pass the given string, at that time you just need to make sure that first time you have to choose the first production. Then if your first will not work, go with the second one. If your second will not work, then go with the third. Why? Because this is not predictive, as well as we just need to go with a turn by turn. Okay, so that's why we just need to start with the first, second, and then third one. Okay, now in a top down without backtracking parser, we have a major two concerns. First one, recursive descent parser, and the second one, that is non-recursive parser, or you can say the LL1. As the name suggests, there is no requirement of a left recursion in your question, right? LL1, and or we can say that it is a predictive parser. Okay, so in that case, you just need to go with the whatever you want to choose at the first time of your particular given string. At that time, you can choose either of given production, either second one, either a first one, or you can say a third one at the first time. Okay, so then we are just completed with the left factoring, left recursion, steps of LL1. Then what is the major difference between parse tree and syntax tree? Okay, now let's start with the bottom up parsing. Okay, in a bottom up, first of all, I have operator precedence parser, right? Now, what is the major concern of operator precedence parser? Or you can say, whenever the name a bottom up parsing is there, then four major operations are comes into the picture. Now, which type of operations we just require to put it into the bottom up parser? The first one, that is, you can say that either you just need to go with the except state, or you just need to go with the error state, or you can say the error operation, or you can just say that if a major two concern of a bottom up parser are there, then you just need to make sure that a major four concern or major four operations are there for the bottom up parsing methodologies, right? So the first one, we can say except operation, either error operation, or you can say a shift or a reduce concept. Okay, so now what is the major concern of our shift and reduce? You all are very much aware with that. Now if I'll say shift and a reduce operation, particular for the bottom of parsing methodologies, or you can say a parser of a bottom, any bottom of parser, that means you just need to either make sure that you need to either shift your terminal or a non-terminal from your input string to your stack, or else in a reduced concept you just need to make sure that you must be reduce something, or you can say you just need to go from right hand side to the left hand side. Okay, so say for example, for the except state or a string parsing methodology, either in operator or in LR parsing, right? For the string parsing concern, we have a three major concerns: that stack, input, and action. Okay, right now we are in a parser chapter, okay, or a parsing chapter, so we just need to deal with the grammar only. We don't have a concept like only string as we were seeing in the previous chapter, that is carry. So at that time our major goal is a string, or you can say a particular given regular expression. And over here in a parsing methodology, we don't have a concept like regular expression, right? We just need to deal with the our grammar only. Okay, so say for example, uh, we just have a one grammar e plus e or e star e or id, and I want to pass a string id plus id star id. Now, what is the accept operation? What is the error operation? What is the shift and what is the reduce? Okay. Now, first of all, we just go with the first symbol, that is stack will always contain dollar as a first, or you can say a starting symbol. Okay, now the string is id plus id star id. Okay, and the first time I just need to make sure that is there anything in an input string? Yes, I have, or you can say this is an input buffer. Okay, so in the shift operation, first time I just need to go with the shift operation on. Now if I go with the shift operation, that means you just need to make sure that I need to transfer, or I need to shift of one, or you can say a top of the buffer's element, or you can say terminal, to the buffer to your stack. Okay, so in the second step I just need to shift my one operator or terminal into the stack. Okay, this is known as the shift operation. Okay, and I forgot to put a dollar at the end of my string. Okay, now the second methodology, that is check if I can reduce, or if I can reduce my top of the stack terminal to the non-terminal, then I must have to reduce at the first time, right? So check, is there any production which will give me the id in the right hand side? Yes, I have one production which will produce the id at the right hand side. So now you just need to reduce with this id to the left hand side. So in that case you just need to transfer from right hand side to the left hand side. Okay, so I'll go with the reduce concept, that dollar capital E, so plus id star id and dollar as it is, right? So what I'll do in the next operation, that is E can produce id, so I'll go with the id to E. Okay, your id must be reduced with E. So you can say that your non-terminal or terminal may be replaced with left-hand side's non-terminal symbol, than that type of operation known as the reduce operation. Okay, so is that clear? What is the error? What is the accept? And what is the shift and reduce operation or bottom of parsing methodology? Just say yes or no so that I can go with the operator precedence parser. Okay, is that clear up till the what is the major operations of your bottom up parsing? Just say yes or no so that I can move with the second method, that is operator precedence parser. Okay. Which concept I need to repeat one more time? This concept. So what is the operation, major operation? What is the shift and what is the reduce concept? Should I repeat that type of concept? Can you? Okay. So what is the shift? Shift is nothing but you just need to transfer or you just need to shift your one terminal from input buffer to your stack. That concept is known as the shift, right? So over here I use the shift operation or shift action, okay, over here, right? Now the second one, what is the reduce operation? Okay, now what is the reduce concept? Reduce concept is nothing but the non-terminal or terminal which is at the right hand side, it must be replaced with the left hand side's non-terminal methodology, that is known as the reduce concept. Okay, am I clear? Okay. Okay. So before we start with the operator precedence parser, just be clear with the what is handle and what is handle pruning, right? Now, a rightmost derivation of a grammar gives the production of your left hand side, right? So something like you can say it is a substring that matches the right hand side of your production and whose reduction to the non-terminal on the left hand side of the production. Okay, so the representation of one step along the reverse of your rightmost derivation is known as the handle. Okay, so say for example, if I have a same example, this one. Okay, and I just need to pass this string, that is ID plus ID and star ID. Okay, so in that case, starting with the first operation, that is E can produce E plus E. Okay, now we just very much clear with the rightmost derivation. Okay, you can say leftmost derivation and a reverse order, that is known as the handle. Okay, so if we'll see that what is the first one which will be replaced with the next operation, that is the E. So now the second time, if I'll replace my second E with the E star E, then what is the handle of my E plus E? So you can say the E plus E is a handle of your capital E, right? So am I clear with this? Okay, the next time your E plus E as it is, but your the last one E is replaced with the ID, right? Now this is known as the handle. Okay, now I can say that E gives to ID can handle the ID string. Okay, now this is the concept of handle. And what is the handle prune? Now you can say a rightmost derivation in a reverse order, that is known as the handle pruning. Okay, rightmost derivation in reverse order. Do not write that leftmost derivation is known as handle pruning, right? This is not the correct way to write the definition of handle pruning. Okay, so the in a handle pruning, I have a three major concern, that what is a right sentential form, okay, and the second one that is the what is the handle for a given string, and the last one, what is the reduced production of my given particular grammar. Okay, so let's start with the writing sentential form. Okay, so first of all, I have a string that is id plus id star id. Okay, and what will be the handle for a first string? Right now, I just replace the id with id1, id2, and id3. Sorry, so that you can identify easily. Right now, first time ID1 will be handled by my first production. So the ID1, I just need to handle the first ID1. Why? Because I'll just go with the reduced production. So at the end of my reduced production, what will be the output? So you can say that directly that capital E will be the last answer for my given handle pruning definition. Okay. So the first production, if I'll start with the ID1, then I can reduce my ID1 with the capital E, right? Why? Because your capital E can generate the ID for the same grammar. Okay. So now the ID1 is replaced with capital E. Now capital E plus ID2 star ID3. Right now, ID2 will be handled by my next production. Okay. So is there any production which will produce the ID in the right hand side? Yes, I have a production which will produce ID at the right hand side over here, that E can produce ID, right? So in a reduced production, I'll just replace that E will produce ID. Okay. Now the third time, just ID2 is replaced with capital E. And the last one, that is ID3 as it is. Now ID3 will be handled by my next production. Okay. Can we say that a producing handles to produce a starting symbol is a handle pruning, just for understand? Okay, Helly, can we say that a reducing handles to produce a starting symbol is a handle pruning? Okay, in this example, according to this example, you can say that this is the starting symbol. But if I have a different type of grammar, that different non-terminals at the left hand side and different terminal symbols in the right hand side, and in that case, you cannot say the same thing, right? So in this, according to this example, you can say okay. So I think you all are clear with this. Okay. Yes. Okay. So in over here, I just go with the E star E. E gives to E star E. Yes, I know you all are very much confused with this is the leftmost derivation. Then why ma'am will take the E star E at the first time? Why? Because we follow the rule that top of the stakes non-terminal every time replaced with your terminal or non-terminal, right? But instead of that, we have one more rule that major concern is something like if we follow the bottom-up parsing methodology, then the which of your operator at the leaf node will complete the first time. Okay, so you just need to give the precedence to E star E, then E plus E. Why? Because your leaf node always complete the first time, and then you can go with the root node. Okay, so that's why we just need to follow that rule over here also, that E star E must be completed at the first time. Otherwise, you are violating the rule of your grammar. Now your E star E can be replaced with E. Now you can say E plus E. You just need to handle. Is there any production which will produce the E plus E at the right hand side? Yes. So you just make sure with E plus E will produce capital E, and the last E plus E will be reduced with capital E, right? So over here we can say the starting from your leaf node to your root node, if we will go with that way, then this production is known as the bottom up production, or you can say bottom up parsing methodology using the handle fluid. Okay, so I think up till now, am I clear with the all topics of bottom up parsing methodology? So say yes or no so that I can go with the next parsing method. Okay, so let's start with the operator precedence. Okay, so we just start with the operator precedence, but before operator precedence, so many topics we were left. So thank God, we already covered all the topics at the time. Otherwise, we left some major definitions and a major concept and operations related with your bottom-up parsing, right? So let's start with the operator precedence. Okay, so as the name suggests, operator precedence, that we just need to deal with not a terminal or a non-terminal values. Now we just need to deal with the operators, or you can say the arithmetic operators, which we have already studied in a previous sessions. Okay, or you can say in your classes. So if we'll need to give a precedence to any other operations or any other operators, we just need to make sure that we have a major 3 points. That is, either it is a greater than of anything, either it is a less than of anything, or you can say, or it may be equal to with the anything. Okay, so this dot is always compulsory for operator precedence parser, as the rules suggest. Okay, so can I say my A is less than B? Can I say my A is greater than B? Or can I say that my A is equal B? Or you can say A equal to B, right? So in that case, we have a major 3 concepts, that either it is going to be less or greater or maybe equal to. Okay. So for that, you can say in a first operation, you can say that A yields precedence to B, that A give the precedence to your B. Then you can say A in a second one. You can say that A takes the precedence over B. And the last one, you can say A has a precedence as B, that both are equal to each other. Okay. Okay, so the major concern over here, that how can you say that given grammar is operator precedence or not? Grammar is operator precedence grammar or not? How can you identify? There is a major 3 rules, or you can say 2 rules are there. Okay, so I'll give you 5 minutes for that. If you have a notebook or a classwork book, then you can easily find out that questions in your book, that how can you identify that given grammar is operator precedence grammar or not. Without identification of your operator precedence grammar, you cannot solve the whole question, right? So just start with the how can you identify that given grammar is operator precedence or not. Non-terminal should not be consecutive. Very good, Heli. I think every time Heli will give the answer. Heli is every time giving the answer. Other students don't know the answer or don't want to give me the answer. Left recursion should not be present. No, Heli. Left recursion is allowed in operator precedence grammar. Out of your whole parsing methodologies, only one parser, that is operator precedence parser, can accept the ambiguous grammar, right? That is the major role, that out of your whole parsing methodology, make sure that operator precedence is the only parser which can accept the ambiguous grammar also, right? So if I'll give you this type of question, or E star E, or you can say ID. So in that case, you can say that this is the operator precedence grammar, right? It is not the violating the any rule. So over here, the left recursion is present in my grammar. Okay, yes, no null in the right hand side. Very good. Only one is missing. Okay. Yes, your terminal, or you can say any non-terminal should not be consecutive, or you can say yes, you are right, but just add one more thing, that it must be separated with in your non-terminal should not be consecutive. In that rule, just add a small sentence that it must be, or you can say it can must be, or it can be separated with the operator or a terminal. Okay, so I'm not saying that you are wrong or you are totally correct. Okay, so now identify that this given grammar is operator precedence grammar or not. Rule number one, there is no any null in the right hand side. Is there any epsilon symbol? No. So that your first rule is okay. Now second one, no any non-terminal is at the consecutive position, or you can say there is no any non-terminal next to each other. It must be separated with the operator or maybe terminal symbol. Okay, so over here that rule is also acceptable. Okay, so now just start with the example only, that this is the first example of your operator precedence parse. Okay, so using this you just need to pass the string, or if I give you a w equals to, then also you can identify that w is totally equal to your parsing string, that which string you just need to pass using that given grammar. Okay, so id plus id star id. So now, so before we just go with the example, make sure that we all are very much aware with the big table which is already taught in your class. So I'll give you a small example of that, that how can you draw the operator precedence table for the given question, right? So before start with that, just make sure the precedence of your grammar or the precedence of your whole operators is must be something like id is always greater than your any other operators or any other terminal symbol. Okay, then you can say the same precedence. Okay, so the same precedence is always goes to your power sign, or the star, modulus and a division sign contain the same precedence at the same level. But yes, you just need to make sure that left to right, if your star is at the first position, then first complete your star operation, then go with the second one, and then go with the third. Okay, then at the next position you can say plus and a minus sign is always contain the same precedence. Then you can say next, which is equal to, if there is, we just generally don't deal with equal to sign, so it's okay. and the least precedence goes to your dollar sign. Okay. So up till now, is there any doubt? Okay. Now using this rule, we just need to go with the table. So how many operators are there? So there is a major two operators, that is plus and star. So ID is always required to pass the string. So first just start with the ID. Okay, we go with the column ID. Then second one star, then plus, and the end of string, that is a dollar sign, is always compulsory. So the two major operators, that is star and plus, are required, as well as the dollar at the end of your string and the ID, which is always required for my given question, right? So same like your column, we just need to go with the rules so that there is no any confusion, right? So you can write that plus over here and star over here, but just make sure that you don't miss any operators out of the given question. So that's why first go with the column wise. I'll suggest you, but then the choice is yours, that if you do not want to follow this type of rule, then you can go with your own rule also. But a small tip, that first give the higher precedence, then lower, lower, and the lowest. Same like over here, that ID higher, lower, lower, and the lowest. Okay, so that there is no any confusion, or it may be a perfect answer. Okay, so ID I can never compare. Why? Because you can never compare that. If I have according to your C language example, if I have Z equals to A plus B, right? In that case, I have a three major variables or three major identifiers, that is Z, A, and B. But I can never compare my variable itself. If I have a value A equals to 5 and B equals to 10, in that case I can compare the value of my variable, but I can never compare the variable itself. Okay, so that's why I can never compare the two identifiers with each other. Okay, then the second one, ID is always contain higher precedence. Why? Because which operator, or you can say whichever is at the left hand side, is always put over here in the left hand side, and I have star in the right hand side. So compare your identifier with star. So precedence always goes to your identifier. So that's why I'll put a greater sign over here, right? So same like that, if I have ID in the left hand side and then I have plus, then always precedence goes to your identifier, right? So over here I just need to go with the this one, and dollar contain the least precedence as over here. Okay, now the just go with the star. So now the star is at the right left hand side, and then I have identifier. Okay, so in between, just I need to identify that which one is greater than the identifier is greater. So put the less sign over here, that star contain the lesser precedence than identifier. Okay, then star and star. So in that case, do not put the equal to sign, that star is equal to star. No, it is totally wrong. But take one small example, that A star B star C, right? So over here I have this star and this star. So out of these three or two operations, which one is completed at the first time? So you can say when the equal operator is there, at that time you just need to go with the left hand side to the right hand side. Which one is at the first position from left to right, that A star B, right? So if I don't have this B, then you can say that precedence always goes to your left hand side's operator. Okay, so that's why we will put the greater sign over here, right? So I think you all are clear with that. Okay, now when a plus identifier, then this one, and plus plus again, just go with a small example, that something like this. In that case, first I'll go with the A plus B, then something is answer something like Z, A plus B equals to Z, and Z plus C. Okay, so in that case the precedence goes to your left hand side operator. So always precedence goes to your left hand side operators whenever the two operators may be at least next to each other. Okay, and the dollar sign. you can say the dollar is contained the lowest precedence, and dollar dollar I can never compare. Or you can say when a dollar sign is there, you can say except operation is there. Okay, so I think I'm clear with the first major concern, that is how to draw the operator precedence table for a given question. Okay, so you can say this is a partial operator precedence table. Why the partial? Because I can use a star and plus over here. Okay, so if I'll go with the division, multiplication, and modulus and a power sign in the same table, then this is the major, or you can say a bigger one, operator precedence table. But according to your label or according to your example or exams concern, you can say that if you will go with the only given operators, then it is okay for me, as well as the marks concern also. Okay, so using that, you just need to pass the string. So I have a state, then input buffer, and the action for the same example. Okay, now just start with the dollar as the first position, then input always id plus id star id. Okay, just compare that dollar and id, which one is greater. Put the sign over here that my id is always greater sign, right? In that case, you can say that a stack is greater than your input buffer. Okay, so one small tip, that before you go with the correct answer, just write down a small step, that if my stack is less than buffer, then you can say I can use a shift operator. Have something like buffer as a, I need to go with the reduce operation. Okay, so something like this. Oh, hello, now am I audible? Yes, Vishwari. Okay, so just compare that id at the left hand side. So you just need to go with the row wise, the left one operator, and the right hand side, that is plus. So make sure that id is compared with plus, so precedence goes to your identifier. So in that case, you can say that my stack is a greater than input buffer, right? So in that case, if my stack is greater than input buffer, then you must go with the reduce operation. Now, what is the reduce operation? Is there any production which will produce a ID at the right hand side? Yes, this production E gives to ID, produce the identifier at the right hand side. So in that case, you just need to replace your identifier with the capital E. Yes, and remaining operators or remaining string, write down as it is. Okay, now just go with the input buffer. Now, is my input buffer contains some values? Yes, I have some values, that is plus id star id. So just go with the shift operation. I can't reduce my e with any other non-terminal. Okay, so just go with the shift operation. And what is the shift operation? Shift is nothing but write down your first input buffers string, terminal, non-terminal, or operator from right hand side to the stack. Okay, so plus over here, and id star id dollar. Okay, now verify. Where is the plus? Over here at the left hand side I have plus, and at the right hand side I have identifier. So plus and identifier, yes, this is one. So your stack is less than your input buffer, so over here I have a less than sign. Okay, so my precedence goes to your identifier, and the precedence is goes to your input buffer. In that case, you just need to shift one terminal, non-terminal, or operator from your buffer to your stack. So $E plus ID, and I'm remaining with the star ID and dollar. Okay. So likewise, we just go up till the last one, that is when I'm remaining with the something like dollar and capital E over here, only dollar over here. Yes. Okay. At that time, you can see that whenever you'll get the starting symbol or starting symbol of your grammar at the in the stack, then that methodology is known as you can successfully pass the string using operator precedence from bottom to the top. Okay, so up till now, is there any doubt? Just say yes or no so that I can fast revise the LR parsing. Okay, is there any doubt with the operator precedence parsing? No doubt. So will you mail or WhatsApp us by today? Vaishwari, what should I mail you? This file? Do you require this notepad file? About submission and mid-to preparation. Okay, I'll already drop one message to your official group that which type of things I required for the submission purpose, and for the mid-to preparation, there is all the PPTs are there in your portal, as well as a reference book is also there. And if you require you can say assignment, right? Assignment questions. So your 1 to 4 assignment is also there, and the question bank is also there in your portal. Okay. So instead of that, if you require any other material, then just let me know so that I can share with you. Material for MCQ question. You just need to refer the PPT as well as the reference book and a question bank or assignment. And if you don't have the reference book, so I'll upload a ebook, okay, soft copy of your reference book in your portal so that you can easily check the or prepare from that also. Okay. Okay, so just go with the next concept, that is LR. So as a name suggests, what is LR parsing methodology? This is also from a bottom-up parsing, but it is known as a left to right scanning, as well as a rightmost derivation and a reverse order, that is known as the LR parsing methodology. Okay. So in that case, you just need to go with some method, something like first, you all are aware with that first concept, that if I have LR0 method, so in that case, you just have one example that capital A and A can produce small a, capital A, or small a. Okay. Right. So in that case, you just need to go with a small concept, that is what is augmented grammar. So augmented grammar is nothing but one grammar which will produce starting symbol of your grammar in the right hand side, right? So something like you can say as dash can produce capital S. Okay, so this grammar is known as augmented grammar. And why we need to put this type of grammar in the starting of my question? Because we just need to accept a string which is given by the, or accept the grammar which is given by the you can say developer, or you can say the compiler. Okay, so first of all, step number one, that add one augmented grammar in a given question. Then second topic, second step, that is construct an item set for every move. Okay, so in that case, whenever LR comes into the picture, that a dot symbol is always comes into your mind, that your item set is something like I0 equals to S dash can produce dot S, sorry, capital S. Okay. Then second one, that after the dot I have capital S, so add all the original production of S. So S can produce dot AA. Now after the dot I have capital A, so add all the original production of capital A with the dot symbol. So A can produce a dot small a capital A or dot B, or you can write down it is something like dot B only. Okay, so that is a totally correct syntax for your question. Okay, so now if my dot is comes at the last position, at that time you can say that particular grammar or particular production is successfully passed by my parser. Okay, so you just need to shift your dot from one place to the another place, or you can say one by one from one non-terminal to the another non-terminal. So first time, where is my dot? Dot is at the beginning of your capital S. So in the item set I0, that something like go to I0 comma capital S, at that time I just need to pass my one dot from one place to the other place. So check that the given set is matched with I0, yes or no? No. So you can write over here that this is the my item set number one. Item set 1 equals to go to. Okay, one more clarification is over here, that instead of this method you can go with the round methodologies also, which is taught by, I guess, sir. Yes, Joshi sir taught you in your classes that you can go with the round method also, that from one methodology you can go with the another, you can go with the another, right? So it is okay for me also. Now after dot, is there any non-terminal symbol? No. So you just leave over there and just go. That next dot is over here. So in item set number I0, I'll need to go with the capital E. Right? So whenever I shift my dot from one position to the next position, I just have to check that after dot I have capital A. So add all the original production of capital A after the original production, dot small a capital A or dot.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so match your this item set with the previous one. Is it matched with I0 or I1? No. So I'll give the one more separated name over here. Okay, so that is I2. So up to this, is there any question? Just say yes or no. I guess you are very much clear with What is this stuff? This is LR0 parsing macrology. This is nothing more than that, Hilly. This is LR0 parser. Ma'am, we are comfortable in a drawing item set rather than this. Yes, I very much clear with that, and I'm allowing you. I discussed with you before few minutes ago that if you know how to draw one more another round, then go with that method also. But over here, I'm comfortable with this method, so that I go with this. Okay. Okay, so revise this LR0, SLR, CLR, and LALR from your book. And if you have any doubt, just ask at the time of 12:30 to 1:30 in the next session, right? So stay safe, stay at your home, and be ready with your next session. Okay. Thank you, students. Thank you, everyone.